Hello YouTube, I'm ABC, and today I have a tutorial for you guys. In today's tutorial, we're going to be talking about recursion. I'm going to be showing you how to do this in Java, but it can be applied to any other programming language. I used it in GameMaker a few weeks ago, so it can be a very useful concept anywhere. I'm going to be doing this tutorial in two parts. Part 1, I'm going to show you the basic use of it, and part 2, I'm going to show you some cooler applications of the technique and other places you can use it. So today we go through the basics of it. So I'll need to first show you how programs normally operate. You maybe have method X, which you run, do some more code, and then go with method Y, some more code, and maybe method Z, something like that. And you can achieve a lot with this, but basically it goes in one direction, sort of, you could say. And these will trigger other things, but in recursion you basically form an infinite loop where you have a method, and the method is constantly calling itself. So that goes something like this. You have method X, and maybe you form a few lines of code in there, but then you call method X again. And then form a few more lines. Well, same few lines. This one, just you're repeating this outer circle, and you just go through infinitely, like that. Alright, so that's how recursion operates. Is inside the method you recall the method, and then you get this sort of method within a method within a method within a method idea. Now, this looks like it goes infinitely, and it can if you're not careful. You be very careful with recursion, because it's very easy to form an infinite loop and make your computer crash. But there is a way to make it work so that it will only go to a certain point. So, in this case, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times within itself. And in order to make it do that, you need to have something inside the program to ensure that, to keep track of which one it's in. So in this case we're going to say we have method X with parameter n, and where n is how many times you've called X. N is how many times you've called X. So, and here maybe it's 0 because you can start with 0. So here will be 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can make 4 the maximum for it. Okay. So the way you can make it look like an X. So you have X, N. You have your lines of code, and then you could put down an if statement. If n is less than 4, then recall X again using n plus 1. So that way add 1 to n every single time. So if you do the program in this style, it'll run through it exactly as many times. And that's the basic concept of it. That might be enough for you right now, but now we're going to move on to the tutorial, and I'm going to show you how you can use this in Java. See you guys there. Alright, let's get started. Today we're going to make a recursive program to calculate powers of 2. So we're going to create a method where we can calculate 2 to the power of 6, and we'll find that that is equal to 64, and 2 to the power of 3, which would be equal to 8, etc., etc. So, to do that, we're going to have our method we're going to call 2pow, and it's going to take one parameter, and that parameter is going to be what power we want. So in this case we're going to say 2 to the power of, let's say 5, so 32. and then it's going to return the answer. So let's say system.out.println. Let's go ahead and print that out. Alright, now let's go and get started on our method. So public static. I have to make it static because I'm referencing it from static context. That's confusing to you. It is confusing. You don't have to understand that, but just make sure you understand the logic. That's the important part. Okay, and then int's going to be our return type because it's going to return an int. 2pow is method name, and then for the parameter it's going to be int n. Okay, so int ans is going to be our variable that we're going to return. So return ans, and then we're going to set ans equal to 2 times 2pow of n minus 1. Okay, so just want to make sure you understand this logic. So we want to know 2 to the 5th. So in order to find it, we're saying 2 times 2 to the 4th. You know it's recursive because we're recalling the same method inside of it. And the reason why it's -1 because it's 2 times the previous. So this 2 basically takes out that 1. So if in this case we have 5, so it'll try and find 2 to the 5th by doing 2 times 2 to the 4th. Make sense? Alright, so I'm going to go and compile it. There's a problem with it right now, but I want to just show you what the problem is. But that logic is the basis of it. So I just compiled it. I'm going to go and run it. So it just went through an infinite loop. Didn't work. Eventually it stopped, which I didn't expect it to do. I thought I had to close the program, but oh well, I guess this works nicely. And it says 9. And you saw in the error message saying it's having a problem with 9. So that's because this is just repeating infinitely. And so in order to fix that, we're going to check something. So if n is equal to 0, 2 equal signs, then you want to return 1 because 2 to the power of 0 is 1. And to go any further down than that would be to just make it inaccurate, because then we'd be multiplying by fractions, and that would just undo all our work. So we want to stop when n is equal to 0. So return, oh my bad, we're going to set ans equal to 1 when we get to 0. And if n is not equal to 0, meaning we have still some ways to go, then we'll do this. So we're able to stop the loop by adding this part to it, because n will keep decreasing, so eventually it'll reach 0. So by having this, we're able to stop it. And then this part is what will happen otherwise. Okay? Now, open this again, and go ahead and compile it again. You have C recursion.java. Okay, Java recursion, and it gave me 32, which is right because 2 to the power of 5 is 32. Now let's try and think of another one. 8, I believe that's 256. So let's see if this works as well. Java C recursion, Java recursion, and give me 256. So this is a nice clean way of doing it. I think if you wanted to do this otherwise, you would have either had to have a loop, or you would have had to have imported the math class and used the power function from there, or power method, my bad. So, but this is just a nice clean way of doing it. Now you may notice that, like I just said, that loops would also be a good way of doing this, and to many of you that probably makes more sense, but recursion has some benefits that loops don't have. and I'm going to make another tutorial talking about some of those. So if you want to, you can watch that. Otherwise, that's the end of this tutorial. I'll see you guys next time. What do I do on my PC?